Nimzo-Indian defense, Hbner variation, 5.bd3 and c66.ne2. Sharp a back and forth game where both players had chances. That game was pretty competitive. The opening was balanced. That was an incredible middle game by both players. Both players had a nice end game. Opening with the queen's pawn. The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than a pawn. By taking control of the crucial d5 square and creating a space on which the knight can move to c3 without obstructing the c-pawn, move c4 helps to create a strong center. The move e6 creates a line for the dark squared bishop, sets up a rapid castle, and prepares to push a pawn to d5 and recover the piece if it is taken. And c3 develops the knight to fight for the e4 square and to control d5. In the Nimzo-Indian defense, bb4 pins the knight on c3 and threatens to trade, disturbing white's pawns after bx-c3 and preventing it from moving or defending e4. e3 supports the d4 pawn and allows the light-squared bishop and queen to develop. c5 attacks the d4 pawn, defends the bishop on b4 and prepares to develop the knight to c6 behind the c-pawn. bd3 develops the bishop to an active diagonal that controls the center and attacks h7. And c6 develops the knight toward the center, supports the bishop on b4 and attacks the pawn on d4. ne2 develops the knight toward the center, supports the knight on c3 and prepares castling. This hits in the middle and prevents the opponent from gaining ground. This exchange is fair. This poses a risk of winning a pawn. It is incorrect. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. This stops the opponent from being able to win a pawn. It is good. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Backs off. Castling develops a rook, while also moving the king to safety. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent tends to lead to less sharp positions as compared with opposite side castling. This exchange is fair. Takes back. It is the last book move. The knight can now control more squares as a result. It is ideal. This shifts the bishop to a square with more activity, giving it greater scope. It is ideal. Now that the rook is on an open file, it is easier to control squares all over the board. It is ideal. This misses a chance to imply that gaining a knight is possible. It is incorrect. By growing a queen from its beginning square, this activates the queen. It is quite good. This suggests exchanging items of equivalent value. It is ideal. This misses a great but hard to find move. It is incorrect. Recaptures. This poses a fork piece threat. It is ideal. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This stops the opponent from being able to fork pieces. It is best. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is quite good. Backs off. It is ideal. This competes for the open file with the opposing rook. That's good. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. By moving a rook from its starting square, this activates it. It is ideal. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. It is quite good. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. By posing a threat to a bishop and compelling it to flee, this gains a tempo. That's good. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. This is the only good move. It is a great move. This is an equal trade. This is the only move that works. It is best. Backs off. White is equal at this point in the endgame. It is ideal. A rook enters the action after developing outside of its starting square as a result. That is good. This confines the opponent's king while also moving a rook to the 7th rank, activating it. That's good. This defends the attacked pawn. This is the only good move. It is a great move. The rook is now in a safe position. It is ideal. This moves the checking rook farther away. It is ideal. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. This reveals a rook attack. It is quite good. The rook is now in a safe position. That's good. Very precise. It is best. Among the best actions. It is quite good. That is a logical response. It is quite good. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. A powerful play. It is quite good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. In the endgame, an active king is essential, and removing it from the rear rank is the first step. That's good. This fails to take use of the chance to improve a bishop's square and broaden its range. It is incorrect. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. That's a decent move. That's good. The game was almost evenly matched, but black is now worse. It is incorrect. Although white had the upper hand, the game is now almost even. It is incorrect. It's all right. That's good. This may succeed in winning a bishop. It is incorrect. Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it? This ignores an opportunity to defend a pawn that was under attack. This allows the opponent to capture the checking pawn. It is a mistake. Backs off. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. This permits the opponent to reveal an attack on a bishop. It is an inaccuracy. This ignores an opportunity to reveal an attack on a bishop. It is an inaccuracy. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. That's a decent move. That's good. This is a missed chance to expose a bishop attack. It is incorrect. This misses a chance to improve a bishop's square and broaden its range. It is incorrect. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. Among the best actions. It is quite good. It's all right. That's good. This moves the checking rook farther away. That's good. There was only one good move in that position. This misses an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. It is a mistake. Although the score was nearly equal, white now has the upper hand. That falls flat. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. It is good. Sharp a back and forth game where both players had chances. That game was pretty competitive. The opening was balanced. That was an incredible middle game by both players. Both players had a nice end game.